Good. So, hi and welcome to the Music Is series. This is part 2 in the series, and we are going to be joined by Erica McKoy, who is an amazing, talented DJ from Worldwide FM. And I'm going to be asking her the questions. What does music mean to you? And I often find myself asking myself that, and during this current climate, I've asked myself more frequently, where would I be without music? Yeah, how has music impacted my life? Purely because it is something that I so heavily rely on. And yeah, I've sent out requests to a few people. It's a 12-part series. So I've sent out requests to a few people asking them the same question who are within the live music industry, whether they're DJs, sound technicians, etc. And so, yeah, we're going to be joined by Erica. I'm going to allow her to join now. But yes, she's going to introduce herself. I cannot do her enough justice. So she'll tell you a bit about who she is, and she's going to answer those questions.
Hello.
Greetings. Greetings. I am fantastic. I've been poorly, but I'm a lot better now, and so even better for seeing you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm often on your side of the thing. So I always find it weird when someone wants to interview me or like wants to chat to me in public. But yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good.
Okay, so tell everyone who you are, what you're about, what you do, why I've got you here, etc.
So I'm a presenter slash DJ slash I do a bunch of things, but I work at Worldwide FM, and a big part of my life is music. I'm guessing that's why you want to interview me. But yeah, that's kind of me in a very short, succinct way.
You're not doing it enough justice, but yes, I don't know. You are an incredible DJ and obviously a part of Worldwide FM, and you were actually listed as a Time Out's DJ to watch. So that's incredible in itself within the past kind of 4 or 5 weeks, right?
Yeah, I think it was maybe December. So yeah, 4 or 5 weeks.
There you go.
6 weeks maybe. Yeah.
So yeah, no, thank you for obviously accepting the invitation, and I'm so excited to have you on here because really the series Music is just asking the question what music means to people, especially in the live industry, especially because of what we're experiencing currently and the fact that there are no live events. We're not able to, go to sessions, go to parties, etc. I really just wanted to find out from individuals like yourself how music has impacted your life, from the very start until now, what you're currently experiencing, etc. So with that, how has music impacted your life? And let's obviously you're a DJ, and I'm presuming you're a DJ because of your love of music, etc. But I really want to hone into what made you want to get into DJing.
So I started doing radio. That was my entrance in, I guess. And my interest in radio had always existed in some way. I'd kind of always wanted to be a presenter. That was like from when I was young. I'd always wanted to be a presenter. I wanted to be a wrestler, like when I was way younger. I used to be totally into WWE and WWF and whatever. Yeah. I wanted to be a wrestler. That I quickly realized was probably never going to happen. And I would often like pretend that my bedroom was like a Blue Peter studio, so I'd be like, I'm a presenter. And then I realized radio was quite a nice way in to be able to do that. And then I guess the DJing thing happened because so I got booked to DJ. Someone just assumed that I knew how to DJ when I didn't know how to DJ. I was just a radio presenter, and I knew how to use a radio desk, but radio desks and a DJ setup is very different, especially the sort of old school way of doing it. I know a lot of online radio stations do it slightly differently now, where they've got CDJs kind of there on hand. But before, it definitely used to just be a desk, and so I knew how to use that. I was happy to use that. But then someone booked me to DJ at the South Bank in London. And I was like, I don't know how to DJ, so I have to learn. Because I think I had 6 weeks until the gig, so I was like, I have to learn at some point. And so that was like, I had to learn quick. So I did that, and that's how I got into DJing. It's kind of, I fell into it. So I never, you know, I sometimes don't really introduce myself as a DJ because I really honor the role of a DJ. I think I definitely look at myself as a broadcaster. I would say that's 100% that's definitely my role. But a DJ, I really respect a DJ. I think a DJ has the ability to understand the room, really kind of understand the room, and they know how to have a conversation with an audience. And I think, you know, it's a skill that I think is one that some people have instantly, and some people, you know, it takes a bit of time. And yeah, I truly respect the art of DJing. So I sometimes don't put myself in that category because it's not what I kind of fell into it. It wasn't a thing that I started off or intended to do. It's just something that happened. But yeah, that's where my sort of music journey started in some ways.
Okay. So that's how you're kind of broadcasting slash presenting slash DJing. Yeah, you fallen into it, South Bank, etc. But what obviously what's your first recollection of music? What's your first memory of music? I'd like to know what that is.
Ooh. I was thinking about this question because you sent the questions over, and I was thinking, what is my first recollection of music? So my dad worked in the music industry, was a big part of the music industry, in particular reggae and lovers rock. That was his kind of avenue. So I guess in some ways it's kind of always been there. But I would say that my mum and dad, my dad was kind of very music head. My mum is kind of, you know, she doesn't really listen to too much music. And I think she would, I remember growing up and listening to Tony Braxton and, like, you know, very soulful R&B sort of 90s stuff or whatever. But in general, it wasn't, you know, like when you talk to some people, it's like, oh yeah, I grew up listening and going through my parents' records and whatnot. That's not my journey at all. I would say, you know, my mum and my dad are two very creative people, or my dad passed away, but two creative people. And I think there's many different ways of bringing up a child. You can either kind of go down that route of being super creative around them and having all the music and having all the stimulus around them, or having it as like a very clear, I guess, I don't know what the phrase would be, but like tabula rasa, which is like in Latin, I think it's like, you know, clear slate basically. And I would say that my parents gave me that clear slate, so I had the chance to develop my own music taste. So I kind of went through different phases of finding different types of music. So my earliest recollection, you know, of music that I chose to listen to would be probably pop. So it's not even that, it's not interesting now, but it would have been like Spice Girls, and, like, you know, forcing everyone in the house to listen to Spice Girls because that was what I was really into. But then I think I also have really good early memories of hearing my sister Adele, who, you know, playing sort of jungle and garage, and I think that probably had a really big impact on me from a very early age. I was like, okay, this is, you know, I could listen to it and I'd be like, okay, this is a genre of music that is interesting. And it always kind of, I would say it's probably a very key part of my foundation in terms of music.
No, absolutely. And you find, well, I've found that a lot of the creatives, a lot of the DJs, sound system engineers, etc., whilst you've described that, you know, it wasn't kind of like, you know, going through and selecting, you know, vinyls, etc., I think there was always music, or music was played, music, you know, featured at some point or another quite majorly in their life. And so, yeah, I think it's incredible the way that, you know, even if it's like a kind of a sprinkle of it, we're still able to kind of somehow recollect that, and then in some way or another, you know, become involved more so as we get older in a creative role. So no, that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought like music would be where I'd end up. I kind of, as I said, broadcasting, and then I guess eventually journalism. That was like what I thought I would end up doing. And back in the day, my sister used to work in like a publishing house. It was called IPC Media at the time. But they used to release like magazines like Now magazine and fashion magazines, Marie Claire and whatnot. And I always thought, okay, that's probably going to be my route, like some sort of journalism, some sort of broadcasting. That's going to be where I end up. And especially fashion. I never really thought music. I kind of thought I'd be in fashion. I spent a little bit of time working at, you know, a couple of modeling agencies and like learning how they do things. So music was never, until I kind of got to about 15, when I was like, okay, got into radio. That's when I was just like, whoa, okay, this is my arena. Like this is my comfort zone.
And I think you can see it, the way you smiled, like, yes, this is it. You know, it's just those kind of, when you feel like, not that you've arrived, but you're finally where you're meant to be. And I felt like I can definitely relate to that so much. The next question that I was going to ask you was very much about how you got involved, but you've described that, and obviously the fact that you stumbled into it. So I'd like to ask, without music now, where would you be? Because obviously, whilst you don't, you know, given the current climate, etc., but without music, where would you be? Do you think it's something that, you know, you can easily navigate not doing or not having, especially because of the current climate? How have you found that? And yeah, how are you dealing with it?
Where would I be without music? Well, firstly, maybe I wouldn't have even existed. You know, like my mum probably wouldn't have gone to that particular gig and met my dad. So that's for starters. But if music kind of disappeared from my life right now, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I think music is so healing.
And that is like, sorry to cut you, but I just think that is paramount, you know, because it's like what sound music does to us, it's like, it's unfathomable, like how much we get from it, and what a major part it plays in our lives. You know, considering that, you know, we go to school, we leave, etc., and music doesn't feature necessarily. You know, you have music lessons, but then that's it. But I think, again, going back to the amount of people who I know are creatives and how much they engage with music on a day-to-day basis, whether it's that they have a radio in their office, or, you know, they're producing, or whatever it might be, it features so majorly. So yeah,
it's a massive part of my life. I think, I mean, I think now, you know, now I've had a taste of music. I've lived 25 years of music in my life. It would be very difficult to live the rest of my life without sound, without music, without the feeling it gives me, without the experience. What I'm missing at the moment during this COVID time is going to a gig, going to a party, whatever, and feeling, you know, feeling the ground move, where the, you know, the music's so loud, or feeling it in my chest and being like, whoa, I feel like my, you know, my chest is gonna explode, but I'm enjoying it. And like, those are the things I'm missing, you know, clubbing. I'm missing the experience of walking past someone with a sweaty arm. Like, I'm missing all of that. I'm missing the sticky floor. I'm missing all of that. And I think if I didn't have, if, you know, if someone was to take music away from my life at this point, I think I'd be in a very low space. But I think I would have to find some sort of art or some sort of creativity to kind of, I guess, stimulate my mind in some way, because yeah, I don't know what I'd do without it. I guess in some ways I'm quite fortunate that I'm just, you know, as a broadcaster and as someone that enjoys music, I'm just the channel to other people finding music. So it's not how I, you know, to some extent it is how I express myself, but it's not the only way I can express myself. And I think, you know, with musicians, it would be a very different story. I think if, you know, a drummer could no longer drum and there was no music, the way they express themselves. I had a friend who, honestly, I would say he could probably express himself more with the saxophone than he could with, you know, voice and actually using his words. And there'd be times when, you know, he would be very quiet off stage, but on stage he was a completely different person. And I think if music was to be removed from his life, I don't know what would happen. Like, it would just be kind of one of those things that would be devastating. But yeah, that's my answer in long, I guess. Long response.
The longer the better. You know, I think it's important that even though, again, you feel like you're not like first-hand, you know, musician or artist, etc., I still think that there is something really compelling about music, whether it's live, whether it's studio recorded, etc., that features, I would say, in most people's life, you know, and I think something that, you know, right now there's a real, obviously there's a pandemic on, but there's even more so, you know, in terms of people's mental health and those feelings that you describe about brushing past people and just feeling the vibration of a place, of a club, etc. I think it can't go unmentioned, you know, because
Absolutely not.
this
Yeah.
is what we do, you know, and it's part of who we are, you know. It very much is part of who we are. So no, I think
And it's, you know, a big part of the communities we form. I think if I was to
massively,
remove all my friends that had something to do with music, I'd have hardly any friends. I'd have hardly any friends. But, you know, yeah, I'd have hardly any friends. I would have, yeah, basically no one in my life. Everyone's got some. I've either met people through being in a club or online or broadcasting, radio. You know, I also like the BBC, being at the BBC or whatever. I've met these people through music. We found a connection through music, whether it was something that we mutually enjoyed together or something we kind of butted heads against. You know, I don't like that album. Oh, I love that album. You know, like we found some sort of connection there. And so music is a community, like especially the community I feel like I'm part of, the worldwide family, if you like. You know, that's a community. Like everyone feels like there's a proper international community of people who love music, and they're kind of dotted all around the world. I feel like I could easily go to Japan for the first time and meet some great people that I've never met before, but we have a connection because we have that worldwide connection. Or I could go to somewhere, I could go to the New Orleans.
the language. It is that universal
Yeah.
language. That's you know, you're broadcast DJ at Worldwide FM, and it's like your language is music. And so I think your role and your input and your experience is just as valuable. So now I'm going to move on to the most impactful song that you can recollect, and yeah, why it is that song in particular impacted you in that way.
I struggled thinking about that one too. I was like, okay, God, like you've been through loads of different genres. Erica, you've been through all the genres. I went through different stages whilst growing up of being into different things, as I said, because I guess I probably had like a really clear slate to start off from. So, you know, I had to find my own footing and where I enjoyed music. I would say something that really, you know, music that really changed my life, or was something that I could recollect that was really important to me, was probably, I pulled it out earlier, but it's probably this. It's Bugs in the Attic, Back in the Doghouse. And this artist showed it to me. He's like an illustrator. And before that, I'd been listening. I went through all the genres. Like from being in like primary school, I was kind of in primary school. That was like my, I would say that was like my R&B, which is really early to be listening to R&B, I guess, in many ways. But it was what you know the people around me was listening to. So my sister's boyfriend at the time, Jermaine, he would drive us around and he would always listen to R&B. So that was like, okay, cool. I like R&B. And then I went through my own thing of trying to find my own genres, and I guess I kind of fell into that sort of bow wow, maybe even a little bit chingy, like what that was kind of what was popular at the time, and I was enjoying that. And I used to get this music magazine, this Black British music magazine. I can't remember the name of it, and so that was like all about bow wow and all about chingy and all about all the good looking guys at the time. And then yeah, kind of went into this weird kind of indie alternative. You know, I had my experience. I had to, you know, enjoy it all and listen to it all, and I think they've all been really foundational in some ways. But I think Bugs in the Attic, when I first listened to Bugs in the Attic, that kind of changed my world. Like it changed my world, because what it did was that it opened up loads of doors at the same time. So before, I'd kind of been looking at different doors and going down this way and checking out the R&B route, or I was going down this way and checking out the indie route, and like, or listening to old school kind of rock, 70s rock, and I was like enjoying Jimi Hendrix, and that was like one door in many ways. What happened when I listened to Bugs in the Attic is it was like all the doors opened at the same time. It kind of opened the doors to Latin music, it opened the doors to West African music, it opened the doors to, I guess, some sort of a memory of jungle and garage. It opened all these doors, and I was just like, okay, like I'm here, and this is the sort of music I love. And it just kind of, I'd listen to it non-stop, but I'd find any broken beat I could find. And it's funny because I found broken beat probably really at the tail end / in the middle of, kind of went through a wave. So I kind of caught it just after Plastic People disappeared, I guess, or didn't happen didn't happen anymore. And I was too young to go to the clubs anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to go to Plastic People, but I caught it at that moment. And then I kind of was in it whilst it was kind of having its dip, and then it kind of went like that maybe 3 years later, so it kind of went back up. And for me that was like, wow, that opened up, because it was just like, okay, now I can see loads of different genres, and I'm tapping into loads of different genres that kind of all of them equally attract me. All of them have something about it that is like getting my attention, making my ears stand up. And it sounded different. It didn't have the regular, it wasn't what I expected. You know, like some music you could kind of, you know where it's going to go, which, you know, there's definitely benefits to that, and there's some downsides to that. But with broken beat, it felt like I didn't know where it could go, and the producers at the time were making it and taking it into different places, and I was like, you know, completely blown away by that. So I would say, yeah, listening to Bugs in the Attic for the first time was probably like, yeah, I was like, wow, that shifted something in me. Opened my ears to jazz. It kind of, which I wasn't as interested in at the time. I was definitely more into sort of I went into like an electronic music phase, but it kind of opened up that jazz door as well for me. So yeah, I'd say Bugs in the Attic was the piece that kind of opened it up.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And I think there is, you know, even though it takes you some time to get to it, there always is that one song, and it does something to you. You know, like I have a song, the song that inspired me to build CAYA. I have songs.
What was it? What was the song that?
It's the Declaration of Rights by Abyssinians. And so, you know, I was at Carnival, and it was just like I had an epiphany that I had a sound. And then I went home, I had a dream that I built a sound system, and the sister that I was there at Carnival with, I called her the next day and I told her, and I was like, yeah, I built a sound system. And she was like, you know, and you can make it happen. Anne would probably leave the dance a lot tidier than the men. And we had a joke, but then that was kind of like what really, yeah, that song, it was, and what I described, even when I was speaking to Young Warrior last week, was you know, an equation of the music, the sound system, the song, the people's energy, the vibration of that space, all came together, and it was just like, you have to do this. So yeah, no, for me, there's songs that, you know, do different things for me, but in terms of when I'm referring to CAYA sound system, it's that song.
Yeah.
It is that song.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone has one song. There is maybe a few sometimes.
It totally is as well, that vibration. I'm big on, you know, vibrations, like physical and, you know, metaphysical, if you like there is something that happens. I mean, so sometimes I like to try out different things. So I went to sound bath. I don't know if you've ever been to one, but you know, some people find them really annoying and not that comfortable to be in. Some people find it really emotional to be in. I just really enjoyed it. I felt like I was almost meditating in it. And when I was talking to the teacher afterwards, she was saying how when I'm doing this and when I'm, you know, hitting the gong, the vibrations, you've got water in your body, like you are made up of water, so it is having an impact on your body right there and then. Like, it's having a physical impact on you. It's not just the sound thing. It's not just something you're hearing. It's something that's having a deep sort of body experience, a deeply sort of physical experience, and something that maybe, if you're open to it, possibly a spiritual experience as well. And I think, yeah, music does that. There's no way it can't do that. And I think that sort of feeling that vibration from a sound system can really open that up for you. It can kind of make it even more, you know, make the experience even more intense when you hear it on a sound system naturally, because it's louder and yeah, the vibrations are stronger. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, final question before we ask for some questions from our viewers is, when I start the statement, music is, I need you to finish it. So, music is?
Music is a healing force. It is powerful. It's community. It's nurturing. It's love. That's what music is for me.
Fantastic. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I just think, you know, yeah, that's incredible. Thank you so, so, so much. And I think it's, again, interesting because, you know, obviously you're my second guest, which I'm so appreciative of, but, you know, you get music is, you know, and it's so different for everyone. And yeah, I just find it incredible the way that it's a universal language, but it's interpreted different by everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, I'm going to scroll through. I'm going to ask and to see if there's anyone who has any questions for myself or for Erica. And yeah, we can answer them. If not, I have a question. And yeah, I wondered, yeah, if there are no questions. Thank you, Roberta. Yes, music is live. I don't know if there are, I can see, I don't know if someone's typing now, but yeah, we'll wait for a few more. In the interim,
Cool.
Worldwide FM, tell the viewers about that, what it is, how long you've been involved, what's going to happen next.
Cool. So Worldwide FM is an online radio station that's set up by a guy called Giles Peterson, and he has a really big history in radio. So if you've never heard of him, then I definitely suggest that you go and check him out. But Worldwide FM was set up by Giles and Tristan, who's a DJ that set up Boiler Room, which was like is a thing that people can watch, and it kind of really revolutionized the way people engage with music, I guess. So those two set up with a team of other people. They were like, why don't we do this, like create an online radio station? And so I've been there since 2000. This year will be my 4th year, and I think the station has been going for 5 years.
Okay.
So I kind of jumped on the bandwagon quite early with Worldwide. I saw it and I was just like, that's my station. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I'm probably a bit embarrassed to say, I am a little bit embarrassed to say it, but I definitely emailed a couple of people and maybe sent a few Facebook messages being like, hey, can I come down? Can I be there? But yeah, no, Worldwide is brilliant. And like, I saw it instantly. I was like, that's my station. Like, there's no if, no buts. Like, all the other online radio stations, they're not quite my like, I'd have to fit into a weird shape to get into that, you know, like
You'd have to.
It's like we'll be trying, yeah, exactly. It'd be like trying to fit a square into a circle. It wouldn't happen. So Worldwide felt like the perfect kind of fit for me. So I kind of found my way. I was like, you know, I got there. And then right now, I used to host a show called Worldwide Daily, which would come on every morning at 11 a.m. And we got people through the pandemic, the earlier parts of the pandemic, first lockdown. and it was incredible, and we had a really great audience and stuff, and there's still some incredible, I love the audience on Worldwide because they're deep music heads, so you can't really mess up, you can't come in shabby. You have to know your stuff. So yeah, that's Worldwide. And what's to come with Worldwide? I think there's a few bits. There's a couple bits I can't say.
Okay. What are you doing next? Is there anything in the pipeline, or you're at Worldwide? Is there
For me at Worldwide specifically?
Or for you, and to see, for us, for any of the viewers to kind of keep up to speed with, obviously follow you at Erica McKoy. But is there anything that you want to let everyone know of?
So there's a couple. There are a couple of bits that are really exciting that are coming up at Worldwide. I'm not sure if I can actually say what they are just yet, but
just follow Worldwide FM then, people.
Just follow Worldwide FM, you'll find out. And yeah, like every morning there's incredible people hosting a radio show. Throughout the whole day you can find something that's for you. That's what I love about it. It's like it's a very curated radio station. Every show is thought about. Every presenter, from the programming team, they really think about, and they're really selective about who they put on the station. And then from the sort of presenters and the DJs themselves, they're very selective about the music they play. And I would say that you will never find rubbish music on that station. Like, there's some sort of depth to it in some way. I remember once someone tried playing, not saying that this is rubbish music, but they tried playing something that was very off key to Worldwide, and everyone was just a bit like, it was like the vibration changed. It was like, what the hell? What's this? You can't play this. This is mad. It just felt very off. So there is everyone's connected in a global way, and it feels like everyone truly feels on the same sort of vibration, if you like. Everyone plays really great music, so depending on whatever you're in, you can find someone that will play jungle, or you can find someone that will play reggae, or you can find someone that's playing something from Turkey or something from India. Like, literally, it's a really global thing. So yeah, follow Worldwide FM.
Absolutely. And the final question then, Bugs in the Attic, what's the name of the group? Is it Bugs in the Attic? Bugs in the Attic is the group, yeah. And okay, it's just the album. So if anyone wants to listen to the records, this is the record. It came out, when did it come out? It came out quite late. It came out later on, actually. So it came out in 2006. But it's just, there was something about it that kind of really flipped it and changed it for me. So yeah, if anyone wants to listen, this is the album, Bugs in the Attic, Back in the Doghouse. Back in the Doghouse. Bugs in the Attic, Back in the Doghouse. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Music is part 2 series of Erica McKoy. Thank you so much. Follow her at Erica McKoy, and also follow Worldwide FM. Thank you, people. Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing. I'm going to tune in every week. Please Monday, 6. Please do. 6 p.m. Yeah? You take care. Thank you. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye.